It is ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. You just want to say thank you for just rocking with us. You guys have been doing your thing when it comes to liking and subscribing and checking us out. Don't forget, you can always download us on wherever you get your podcast. Wherever I'm talking about Spotify, Audible, wherever, Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcast, you can check us out. Make sure you do that because we will be bringing you this thing each and every day. And check
And
us out on YouTube. It's free.
yes,
Yeah, it
and
don't
you can
cost nothing for you. You can see us and see what we look like. Tanisha and I, we all right. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? We
okay.
we ain't ugly. But let me move on before I get myself in trouble.
Like Cam. See, he's going down the Cam Dam road.
Yes, I don't want to go down the damn Cam road. We want to do that, because this is for the culture. And we're going to talk about Cam Newton and some of the comments that he had. But before we do that, I want to tell you about BetOnline. BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting stats. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's NBA playoffs. Remember, we were talking about the Cavs and the Nets. You can check them out tonight. See
Yeah,
what Kevin Durant, maybe you can hit that over-under on him and see what he does. Or maybe Kyrie Irving goes for 60 points. And you can go and make some money there. Check them out. And also, you can BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. So make sure you go head to the website today. The playoffs are starting. Major League Baseball is going on. The
hmm
Braves play tonight. Go put some money on Matt Olson, on
yes,
whatever, because he is absolutely killing it right now. He's gonna make you a lot of money.
hmm
You can learn more about the website as far as the trends and the actions, because you know what? Bet Online is where the game starts. Tenitra Batiste for the culture. We are here for you, and we hope you continue to rock with us and ride with us as we go on the Locked On Sports Atlanta.
yes.
Make sure you subscribe. But Cam Newton kind of stepped in it. This is something that we're not too out of the realm when it comes to the way Cam Newton kind of phrases things. But he was on the podcast. I think it was the $1 Million Podcast,
Yes.
and he was talking about women and relationships, and he got to a point where it was like a minute and 20 second snippet that was pulled from that, and it just made him seem like a Neanderthal, essentially.
Yes, that's the word I
If I give a word like if it was a perfect word to use in this situation, Cam Newton was made to look out to be a Neanderthal when he was
yes.
talking about women needing to be quiet
Yes.
and learn when to speak,
Yes.
and they need to know how to cook and all this stuff, and it can't be a bad chick, and they can't be a boss and all this good stuff. They need to stay at home and take care of my babies and cook. But I would be remiss. I'm going to say what I need to say on this, but I have to let you kind of just opine on this. So,
Yeah.
Tenitra Batiste, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, sir. But first of all, I want to say that I did listen to the audio in its entirety
Yeah, you
because
go.
for me, it's important to know the context. I know we live in a microwave society, but there are some things, whether it's a Cam Newton situation or like we delved into Dwayne Haskins and the Adam Schefter response and the Gil Brandt response, we listened to the audio, we read through the tweets, and that's what we're going to try to do on this show and bring to you context and give you some different vantage points.
There you
That
go.
said, with this situation, we've met Cam before. I've
Yeah.
interviewed Cam, I've spoken with Cam off
Hmm.
camera, I've spoken with his brother Cecil, and I know people who know his family quite well from his days at Westlake. So let
Right.
me just lay that foundation, part one. I'm seeing it from a slightly different vantage point. I think part two is you have to remember for Cam, yes, how he said it ain't right. I mean, like
Yeah.
literally, I think you said he put his foot in his mouth, and I just really wanted to say, no,
No.
that way. But
No.
that being said, we all could use a little grace, and I know Cam is kind of running out of grace with us, but we could
Right.
all use a little grace in people understanding what we were trying to communicate or convey. In his, I don't want to say defense, but from his vantage point, No, you don't use the words cater and cook in the same sentence because that's triggering. Like you
Mm-hmm.
literally said cater and cook in the same sentence. Not going to be good for women, right?
Right.
But in essence, what his context was he was saying that there are some women, some females who are braggadocious about they do this, that, and the third, and they've got this, that, and the other. But he's asking, can you take care of the basics?
Right.
And that's really what he was trying to say. Now, did he communicate that effectively? Absolutely not. Absolutely. We
Right.
wouldn't be having this conversation in FTC if he did.
Right.
But what he was trying to say does make some semblance of sense as long as there's parity and equity. So if you're saying that female should just be quiet from time to time, well, there may be moments where you want to step back and not say anything, like this moment, Cam. You should have been quiet. This,
Right.
so definitely that's one aspect of it. But on the same token, we may look at it from the perspective of his upbringing. He
Yeah.
came up in a family with an educated mother and an educated father, but also a father who was a pastor, a mother who was essentially a first lady. And there were kind of some roles and responsibilities that they took on. Not to say that they didn't interchange them. I'm going to switch gears and let Jarvis chime in because he's married with children and he can give some just another amazing vantage point there as well. But there are some roles and responsibilities that he grew up with in a traditional household that he wants to see in his household. Again, did he communicate it that way? Not very well. But for all of these people who are out here just dragging this poor dude, especially some of our females, kind of understand what he was trying to say in terms of maybe when we're over the top with certain things and sometimes it feels like it's a competition, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Also from our male perspective, it's interesting because on the record, and I can say this from conversations that happen even today, on the record everybody was saying how, hey, he's a Neanderthal and he's really antiquated in his thought process. But off camera and off the record, a lot of men were co-signing on what he was saying. Just saying.
Right. Let's keep it a buck. Like, can we do that here? That's what
Yeah,
we do on For the Culture
yeah.
and on ATL Day Ones. I think that, of course, I would love for my wife to come home and
Mhm.
cook for me every day. I
Yeah.
would absolutely love that. That would be dope. But
Because your mother cooked. And,
yes,
and
my
that's what you
mom
saw
cooks.
growing up.
And she still didn't cook every day
Right.
because she worked the
She
whole
worked.
job. I
Right.
saw how hard that was and how hard she worked and how
Yeah.
good she wanted to be at her job. And she
Hmm.
put in the time and work to in order to accomplish that. And my
Yes.
brother and I picked up on some of those traits. And I
Hmm.
got some of those same traits from my pops as well. Like, so
Yes.
that's what we need to understand when Cam is talking, where he's coming from, right? He saw how you can be successful through his parents. He
Yeah.
saw a two-parent household and how he used it, a three-parent household,
Hmm.
and how essential his grandmother was in
Yeah.
his upbringing. So, and his mom and dad have been together for like 36,
37
37
years.
years. So
Yeah.
they got to be doing something right, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of people are a little touched by it because they may or may not be successful in their relationships that
Yeah.
they've had with the opposite sex, or if they're with the
Yeah.
same sex. However
Yeah.
you get down, that's how you get down. But I think it's just people have to take it from that's Cam's story, that's Cam's experience,
Yeah.
that's Cam's upbringing, and he likes it. You know, thankfully, he likes the way he was brought up, and
Yeah.
that's what he would like or expect in his relationship.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because like people compartmentalize things, right?
Yeah.
I can serve my wife and there not be a place where somebody can say, oh, well, he got you, she got you whipped, man. She's
That's
taking
right.
care of her. I like, okay, if long as I'm satisfied, as long as my wife is satisfied with what we got going on, that's all good.
Yes.
However you
Yeah.
get down, if you don't think it's good advice or you
Hmm.
don't think it's going to help you as a woman hearing what he said,
Right.
that's fine. That's
Hmm.
okay. And
Yes.
I know that's a trigger because black men and black women, there have
Yeah.
been some issues there. And like you
Chasms.
mentioned,
Yes.
there have been some chasms
Schisms.
there. Yeah, some schisms, there. So when you have somebody come out and say these things, because these are personal, right? Cam is a football player. He don't have to talk about what he expects in a relationship. He
Hmm.
chose to. speak
Right.
about it. He was asked about it. They had a conversation about it,
Yep.
and he just gave his opinion.
Yeah.
So don't bust the man upside the head because he saw how his mom and dad were successful growing up, and how they were able to raise a family. He and his brother, or brothers,
Yes.
they had a certain lifestyle that he
Mhm.
appreciated, and he's
Yeah.
been able to have enough talent to go on and build an even better life. So he
Yeah.
wants to be able to have that too. He want to be able
Mhm.
to have that millionaire lifestyle that
Yes.
the NFL has afforded him. And
Mhm.
also, he want to have a traditional relationship because those
Yes.
are based on what he believes works, and
Yes.
he's seen it work. So why
Mhm.
not? Why wouldn't he believe it? So
Yes.
that's kind of where I'm at with it. And like, man, people just need to chill when it comes to relationships.
Yeah.
People just be tripping. They just want to just touch on everything, just be
Right.
touched
And
by
and
every
and
doggone
and
thing.
go
T.
in.
Right,
And
just go in
without
on the
kind of
man.
thinking about right, without kind of thinking about the vantage points, because there was something that we talked about in our pre-production meeting that I want to bring up as well, and just shout out to you and to your wife, my good sis, because I take a lot of lessons from you guys in terms of how you
Oh, thanks,
balance
T.
things. Yes, absolutely. And how you guys balance things, understanding that, yeah, like you said, you would love it if your wife cooked every day or every other day because that's what you grew up seeing, and it worked well because your parents had a good marriage. So
Right.
I can't blame you for desiring that. However, there's a flexibility and there's a give and a take that you guys have, such that, hey,
Hmm.
she knows you like to cook, so boom, do you and cook, get it in. You're also good with your girls, you're a great girl dad, so hey, you take on that role as well. But Tanae knows
I
as
can
well.
do that hair shoe. I
Yeah,
don't need
exactly.
nobody to do that. Yeah,
Someone,
come
I'm
on
still
now.
working. I'm still working on my brother with that. My sis and I, we're still trying to help him out with my nieces,
I'm not
but it's
elite,
okay.
but
For sure,
I can get it. I can get the job done. You know what I'm
exactly. They go to
saying?
school and nobody's calling defects.
Exactly. There you
Yes, and that's a
go.
great point though, because he can take on those quote unquote traditional roles and be quite
Yeah.
fine with it, and his wife can take on the quote unquote traditional roles of his. If she needs to wash the car, traditional role, or if she needs to get the
Hmm.
oil change, traditional role. But to me, it's more about what works for you and what is healthy in your space, and understanding that was what he saw that was healthy in his space. He's looking at a 37-year marriage that produced three successful Black males.
Yeah.
And he's saying, I like that blueprint. You may not like that blueprint, but I like that blueprint because it works. And so, again, we're just here to say, just see it from some different vantage points. And I'm saying it as a female. But again, the things that kind of, like I said before, and I have to keep reiterating because people love to just get sound bites and keep it moving, is we're not co-signing on how he said what he said, because he certainly could have framed that much better than for it to come down to some triggering sound bites like cooking, catering, and we're
Yeah.
done here.
Yeah.
It should have been put in better context, and there should have been follow-up questions and conversation about exactly what he meant. But that said, we do understand, because of his upbringing, not just what he saw in his home, but also their belief system as Christians, in terms of what the expectations are in that home, then that's where his vantage point comes from. But always it's about that flexibility and doing what it is that works in your household, if you are fortunate enough to have such a household.
Indeed. And nothing else to be said. Y'all heard what she said. Y'all make sure y'all come back. And also, you can download us on all the podcast platforms and like and subscribe to Locked On Sports Atlanta. We are the ATL Day One podcast. I'm Jarvis. She's Tenitra. And you know what? We're going to be coming back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Same time, same place. Make sure you check us out. And you will be able to hear us and watch us right
Yes.
here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Y'all make sure y'all come back. T, you got any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, I can't wait tomorrow to talk about the Nets beating the Cavs so that
Yes.
they're taking care of their business. And then we'll talk about how the Hawks will take care of theirs tomorrow night. And hopefully we'll be able to talk about a Braves dub.
Yeah. They need that dub. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
See ya.